Hi, my name is Riley Allen. This is my review of the 2003 movie Finding Nemo. So we start off with this happy little clownfish couple, Marlin and Coral. You know, they've just got their new home and they're preparing to settle down with their 400 kids, soon to be kids. You know, they're in the good part of the neighborhood, real good for families, and oh shit, that's a shark. Well, the shark came, and to Coral's credit, I can't really tell if she went to protect the kids, but I can't tell if it's her going towards the kids, which brought the shark to the kids, or if the shark would always went to the kids. I don't know. Either way, I understand it. Well, the shark had himself a bit of a snack, and, ate Coral and all but one of the eggs. And the surviving egg was cracked, so, yeah. It made it, though, and Marlin named it Nemo, because that's what, Coral wanted to name one of them. Nemo. So, we start off with a little flash forward, and Nemo's about to start school, and he's real excited for it. But Marlin, he's nervous. He doesn't really want to let his baby go. And honestly, I understand. We weren't giving a number of how many eggs. It said over 400. So, it could mean he lost in between 400 eggs and 498 eggs. It's between that number and his wife. So, I understand his hesitancy to, let Nemo go out. So Nemo makes some friends, and I love the running joke through the movie that, despite being a clownfish, Marlin can't tell a joke for shit. So, Nemo, I guess, is kind of trying to be adventurous and rebellious now that to spite his dad, so he goes out to touch the butt. And the butt is actually a boat, which somebody misinterpreted, I guess. Mispronounced. So he touches it and gets caught. Snatched up. So Marlin goes on an odyssey to rescue him. He swims around and he meets, Dory. And I'm kind of for like a good chunk of the movie, I really didn't like Dory. And I'm still not the biggest fan of her. So, she joins the adventure because she points out where the boat went, but she immediately forgets because her short-term memory is not that great. They end up getting caught by some sharks who are now pacifists, vegetarians, or whatever. And so they're going through their own little, or FA? Would it be FA? FEA? Fish Eaters Anonymous? So that's where the wonderful line of fish are friends, not food. Alright, you can continue saying that. People who say that have not eaten fish. Anyways, so Marlin finds the goggles of one of the divers, and it says that they're from Sydney. So that's where he's got to go. Meanwhile, Dory got injured, and the blood in the water attracts the sharks. So now they've got to escape the sharks. They managed to escape the sharks just barely with the goggles. Meanwhile, the sharks were near minefields, and one of them explodes. They end up getting directions from a school of fish. I can't remember what type of fish. They end up losing the goggle in a dark trench while getting chased by I can't remember. I don't know what the name of the fish is. It's the fish that has a little antenna over it with a light thing, which is meant to attract food for it, which nearly works with Marlin and Dory. Then they have to go through a jellyfish field, and they manage to just escape, with Marlin going back in to rescue Dory. And I do love that over the course of this, he has slowly progressed to be more open and willing to trust. And also he is evolved to going back to rescue Dory, which I don't think he would have done at first meeting. Next, they meet a bunch of turtles who ride with him on the current. And I love that one of the things he did before the turtles left was to ask his age, because that was one of the questions that Nemo asked him early in the movie. I love that little callback. I loved that little callback. So then they manage to... So they get trapped into a whale, in a whale, get swallowed by a whale, and Dory tries to speak with it, and I can't tell if she actually was speaking to the whale. I wonder if the whale just could understand English and understood what Dory was trying to say, or if he really just speaks Whalish. Isn't there like a whale character in Finding Dory? So maybe that just makes sense that this particular whale just isn't very talkative, but he understands English. So I'm thinking that's what happened. Like the whale understood English or what they were saying and helped them get out by shooting them out the blowhole or whatever. Anyways, that or they just got extremely lucky. So, meanwhile, on the Nemo front, we'll talk about Nemo for a bit. He's taken by the fisherman, who is actually a dentist, and is thrown into a fish tank. He's going to be given to the dentist's niece, Darla, as a gift. And all the other fish in the aquarium are like, oh no. Because she killed the last fish by shaking it up rapidly, which is... I mean, I like eating fish, which implies dead fish, but, I don't like dead fish without purpose, And, just shaking the fish to kill it, or whatever, is not very cool, I do love that that they all the fish in the tank absolutely hate the dentist, kind of passively, because they all want to get back to the ocean. Meanwhile, he's just trying to take care and keep all these fish and aquatic life he's got all healthy. Also, I think I read somewhere or heard someone say that all the fish in the aquarium would not live together because this one fish would eat another fish and that fish would eat this one or whatever. So, Gil, basically the leader of the tank, tries to get Nemo to clog up the tank so it could get dirty. He fails and damn near dies, but they manage to rescue him just in time. Meanwhile, we meet Nigel, who's a pelican. And eventually he comes back after hearing the story of Marlin, because the story of Marlin traveling across the ocean to rescue his son has spread. And that gives Nemo the confidence to try again. And this time he succeeds. Meanwhile, back with Marlin, Marlin and Dory nearly get caught by a fish. Or they do get caught by a fish. But they're rescued by Nigel, who brings them to the dentist's office. At the same time that Darla is there, Nemo is playing dead to get flushed down the toilet because all drains lead to the ocean, which is not true. Absolutely not true. I don't think. Pretty sure. Yeah, it's not true. Pretty sure. Anyway. So, Marlin thinks he's actually dead, and thanks to Gil, they managed to get Nemo flushed down the sink in the dentist's office, and he eventually managed to escape and meets up with Dory. Marlin kind of, dejectedly went home, thinking his son's dead. Dory, honestly, this is the one scene that made me like her. She was talking with a crab, trying to find out where Marlin went, and she proceeded to lift the crab up out the water for the seagulls. He said, "Mine?" to get him to talk. Dory and Nemo kind of get captured along with a bunch of other fish by this industrial net, and using a technique that Nemo and the tank crew used of all swimming down with the net to get it free, they managed to break the beam it was on, which is lucky for them. The beam was wooden, because they would not have succeeded if that beam was metal. Side note, those fishermen are going to replace that wooden beam with a metal beam, and that'll never work again. Probably. I mean, the boat was pretty small, and they were tipping it, so they might not break the beam, but they might tip the boat. So they all make the way home after rescuing Nemo from the net, because he got trapped in the net. And that's when Marlin informs them that Crush, the turtle, was 150. So the movie ends with, Marlin being more open to allowing his son to go out in the world, sending him off to school, while finally, evolving to actually telling a good joke. They bring back Squirt, and he's now an exchange student. They bring back the sharks, who are now friends with Dory. And that's how the movie ends. Overall, this is a fun movie. I also believe this is the start of Pixar killing off a character in the first 5 minutes, Because they didn't do it in Toy Story. I don't think they did it in A Bug's Life or Monsters, Inc., and I don't think they did it in Toy Story 2 either. Overall, this movie was nice. It was fun. I love that it had consistency. The running gag of Marlin not telling a joke, and Nemo wanting to know how old turtles are. It ends with all the fish managing to escape in bags, and I kind of felt bad that they got out of the tank and into the bags, but the bags are still, closed, so now they're just bags in the ocean. I kind of hope somebody comes in and helps them or whatever, but I don't know. Oh well. Because they're going to die like that. Anywho, I'm going to give this movie a solid... You know what? I'm going to give this movie a 10 out of 10. No, I can't. I just didn't really... I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. The only reason is it's not getting a 10 out of 10 is I do find Dory kind of annoying. It wasn't until really the last bit of this movie that I found her enjoyable as a character. It's just oh well. 9 out of 10. Thanks for watching the video. Leave a like, comment, subscribe if you want, and I'll see you in the next video.